Hello, and let me turn this music down. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. This is our letters to her series. Some of the ladies may be able to jump in a little later on at their leisure, so we'll see how that goes. But I just want to thank you all for joining me tonight, and let me know who all's here and where you're watching from. And we will go ahead and get started. So again, tonight's conversation is going to be a little different. I'm showing up intentional for a difficult conversation. And not because I have all the answers, but because I believe in showing up even when it's not easy. All right. So we're talking about becoming her in real time. And with that, the letters to her series, I'm trying to get my camera correctly over here. Yep, there we go. But tonight's conversation was not a easy, going to be an easy conversation, I'm sure, for many. But those are the conversations that we need to have, right? Those are the ones that we need to have. So, with that being said, thank you again so much for those that come in here with me, or if you catch it on the replay, I do appreciate that. And I'm going to try to center myself a little bit. There we go. It's never easy, right? Centering yourself, and that's an important thing as well, centering yourself. So tonight, like I said, is about becoming her in real time. With the letters to her, when the idea came to me, the Lord gave it to me, I was like, okay, what can I do for Women's History Month? What can I do for that? And so I was just looking and, thinking and just, praying. And this is what he gave me, letters to her. Write a letter to your younger self. And it wasn't just for me, I see, because so many women reached out and wanted to participate. And some did participate, and then others didn't. But so many felt the calling to participate in this letters to her. And I'm just grateful that they, answered the call and decided to go ahead and be a part of the letters to her series. And I thank them for that. And just give me one quick second, you guys. I'll play a little intermission music for you. All right, I am back, and I do appreciate those for taking the break. I may edit this later because we can do that online, right? But again, welcome to the conversation, and let me turn this music back down. There we go. Yes. All right. Again, like I said, welcome in to the conversation. Feel free to talk in the chat. You're welcome to. You are welcome to, and I may ask you all some questions as well. And you can feel free to speak freely. It's no problem. This is a safe space. And then as you all come in, I may ask you all a few questions once you come in. But I had some questions that were on my mind when I got ready for tonight, and I'll just go over some of those questions. Go over some of the y'all. Hey Brandy, how you doing, sis? How you doing? Thanks so much for coming in on Facebook. Thank you so. Oh no, what's going on with my camera, Lord? Okay, there. Hold on, girl. Hold on, it was going fine. I'm not sure what happened just now. Okay, I'm back. I am back. I'm back, Brandy. Can you hear me? Let me know. If you can hear me, type a 1 in the chat. I'm back, though. There we go. All right. There we go. I am back. All right. So, like I was saying, I'm not sure if you had a chance to check out the Letters to Her series that we just did for the last couple of weeks of March. You can hear me good, good, good. Okay, on the girl, it was fine before anybody popped in, and then it's like it wants to go out, but we're not gonna let that stop us tonight. But like I said, I don't know if you had a chance to catch up on the series and see any of the videos or not, but the Letters to Her series was for we had all the women, including myself. It was about I think 11 or 12 of us that participated, and we each wrote a letter to our younger self. And of course, that was powerful. It was it was a lot. It was a lot, and we made it through. So I wanted to come on here and have a little discussion with some of the ladies, and if they weren't able to make it tonight, we may do this again Tuesday night. Because a lot of the women some said Sunday and some said Tuesday, but we'll probably come back again Tuesday and talk a little bit more in depth about it, because I wanted to give them a chance to go over, how it made them feel to write the letter to themselves. I don't know if you've ever written a letter to your younger self or not, Brandy, but we were just going to talk about some of the different things. But I will ask one question. If you could describe one word or phrase, this is one of the questions I had for them. If you could describe your letter in one word or phrase, what would it be and why? And if you feel free to put your answer in the chat as well, Brandy. If you could describe your letter in one word, or yourself in one word, if you were writing a letter to your younger self, what would it be and why? And I'll start myself with me. Excuse me. My letter, my one word would be compassion. My one word would be compassion. Compassion for the little girl, compassion for the younger woman, compassion for everything that she went through. That's what my word would be for her, the compassion. And you all know that of course, I wrote my letter and read it also on my videos, so y'all can check that out. But I also write to express myself, and one of the things that I do is I write poetry mainly. That's the main thing that I do, is I write poetry. And this is my latest book, Still I Bloom, Poems of Healing, Becoming in Quiet Strength. And I'll share a little bit from you guys tonight, since it's just me and we can just relax and just chill, right? We can just chill. So I wrote this book over the course of maybe a year or two. I just kind of took my time, and I didn't decide what I was going to call it or anything until closer to the end. But I will just read. Let me pick one that haven't read online before. Okay, I'm gonna read Unshakable Journey. Hey, Oni. Okay, good, good. Okay, let me know once you get ready to come in. All right. So no word, no rush. Just like I said, I figured I would go ahead and still be on here. And but I'm gonna read Unshakable Journey. It says, sometimes I need time to recharge. A lot of times I'm putting on a facade. We're all taught to put our best foot forward, never moving backwards. I stay focused on the future, building my tomorrow like a suture. I'm immovable, unstoppable, climbing over every obstacle, refusing to fall. With every waking moment, my feet are on the ground, claiming my dream. I don't have to chase, just keeping at a steady pace because it's a journey, not a race. And that poem to me was just a reminder of my journey and everything that I've gone through on my journey and how I'm still here. I'm still going on this journey, right? Like it is not my race is still going, so I still have time to learn and grow and make changes and just keep evolving. As long as you're here on this side of the dirt, you still have time. You still have time. You listen when you posted the play. Good. I'm glad, Brandy. I'm glad. Feel free to share anything if you would like. Even if you want to come up, it's feel fine. I'll send you the link in the chat if you would like to. But yeah, it inspired you. Brandy says I listened when you posted and the playlist, and it inspired me to write a letter to the different versions of myself. Right, and we do have different versions of ourselves. We do as we learn and grow and evolve over the years. Yeah, there are so many different versions. Like I like to say, when I change my hair color, that's a different version of myself. Because I'm like, okay, I mean, I went through the rainbow stage for a little while. I just wanted to have some fun with my hair for a little bit. I had never done that before. And so I waited to my 40s to do that, mid 40s at that. And it was fun. It was a lot of work because having to change, each time once it faded off, of course, you have to keep going back over the whole process again. Because I do my own hair. I'm a former hairdresser, so I always just do it myself. But it's a process. Just like with life, it's a process. Everything you go through, it's a process. Good or bad, or it's a process. So but yeah, I went through that stage of just playing around with the different colors last year, and I may go back. I may change up another color, but this year I decided to in January. Matter of fact, I decided, hey Zakia, thanks for coming in. I decided to you've been stuck on permission for a few minutes. Not sure what's going on. Let me see. Did you check your settings or anything? 'Cause it doesn't show you in here. Are you on the one for today or the one for Tuesday? Because I did put both of them in there, and then the one I sent the other day too. I put a new one in there this afternoon only. So check those and see. But yeah, and so I changed. This year I decided to go back to the red hair. And there's a couple of different shades of red in there too. But because that was the color that I used to mostly wear when I would wear hair color. I love the reds, the different shades of reds. The burgundies, the cinnamon, and the red hot. It was back in high school, whatever, used to use dark and lovely hair colors and stuff. And I would wear red hot Mary was my favorite one. I used to love that color, that red hot Mary. And I put that in my hair, and I had my reddish hair. But back then, I ain't know nothing about bleaching or none of that stuff, so I wasn't doing it. Hey, Mary, if you want to come in, go to the Facebook group chat, and the link is in there for the 29th episode, for the March 29th one. And come on in here with me. Let's have this conversation, y'all. Only trying to come in here too. but yeah, I used to I started with the red hair back then with my red hot Mary. I used to love that. Was the only color I wore too. I just put that in and wear it months, whatever, and redo it. You had to stop in before. Okay, good. Thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, I used to change it all the time. But like I said, as a part of growing and evolving and change is inevitable. Like even like my sister only says, with the dandelions and the flower, it's continuing to, we're blooming. Like we both seem like we're on the same page sometimes with the blooming and the flowers, and who knew? But the flowers are constantly blooming, like every spring, your flowers, you plant some flowers, out in your yard or whatever, that every spring those flowers are going to spring back up again. They might die down in the wintertime, in the fall, but you don't even have to really even do anything. They doing it on their own. They're growing and they're evolving. And that's really what we're doing. We're not doing it on our own. And the flowers technically aren't either, because of course we all know God is in control, right? And all we got to do, honestly, just sit and let him do the work. We make it complicated ourselves sometimes, we do. We make it complicated ourselves, and we don't have to. If we just, listen to him, just let him take care of us, everything can be sometimes better. I can say sometimes everything will just flow how it needs to flow. It'll just flow how it needs to flow, just like the flowers, just like the birds. They don't run around wondering what they're gonna eat. They know food gonna be there for them. They might have to come down and pick it up, of course, obviously, just like we do. You got to do something, but you don't have to be worrying and scrambling and wondering what's gonna happen. Just trust him. That's all you gotta do, is just trust him. And even with the letters, we've all gone through different things in our lives, whether it's childhood, young adult years, middle adult years. We're all aging. We go through stuff. Yours is too? Are y'all on the Did y'all click on the one for today? I'm gonna see if I can resend it to you guys. Bear with us a moment, you guys. I'm gonna see if I can let me go to my phone. Hold on. See if I can resend it. Let me see. All right, hold on, y'all, just a second. I was on mute because my dad had walked in the room. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Uh-oh, I think you froze on me. I'm gonna see if I can I can hold on. Can you hear me now? You hear me? You can't hear me? Did I put my mic back on? Hold on. Let me see. I don't know why this thing. Okay, let me go to your microphone. Okay, it says no microphone available on yours, is what it's saying. Okay, try to go out and come back in. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in the chat again for y'all. You too, Mary. I'm gonna put the link in here again. Hold on. Okay. I just put the link back in here for y'all again. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, you couldn't hear Oni. All right. Thanks, Brandon, for letting us know. Okay, I'm letting them know they're gonna come back in. Okay. All right. I'm gonna just send everybody. Let's see if they might have just be getting ready to be available now. Okay. Everyone. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, Oni, I don't see your I don't see your picture, but it shows that you're in here. Okay. And another lady is trying to get on too. She says her internet is not cooperating. So we're gonna try this, y'all. It must be something Div don't want us to get out. I swear, Lord. I said, okay. All right. So we're gonna just like I said, hopefully the ladies will be able to make it in. Because I sent the invite. Yeah. So we're gonna just oh, hold on. I sent the wrong one. No, okay, it's this one. this one. Okay. All right, Crystal. I got your let's see, hold on. I'm talking like she's in here with us. And let's see, and that's the wrong one. Hold on, bear with us, y'all. Hold on. I sent them the wrong one. Here it is. Here it is. This is today. All right. Okay, I just posted it back in the chat again. For this one is for today. So we'll give them some time to come on. But yes, so Mary, I put it back in there again too. If yours is restart your devices, try to restart your devices, ladies, and see if that'll help it. Yeah, see if that'll help. Because I know Facebook will never let me just do it straight on there. It never lets me do it straight on there. Let me see. Yeah, Facebook never lets me go straight live and add people. Your phone won't allow permission. Just go. Okay, about to run inside. Okay, on there. I hear you. Okay, hold on. All right, but okay. So yeah, we're gonna just bear with you guys. So stay tuned. Stick with me if you're still here. Zakia and Brandy, if y'all still here. Hey, I know Zakia said she was about to get ready for dinner. So, but if you can, just hang tight with me. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can play some of the videos while we wait on the ladies. Hang on. I'm gonna see if I can play one of them if we can, ladies. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna go to the letters and see if I can just share a few for some that wasn't able to, or it might not. Let me see if it'll let me. We'll see if it'll let me. Okay, let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're not gonna go to my letter first. No, we're gonna go to my letter first. Let's see. And let's see. Okay, my screen. Let me share my screen, and I'm gonna just let us look. They're not long either way, so let me just share my screen. All right, and we can watch my letter for a second. You've been through so much. Some things you remember, and some you don't. But it's okay. We know now that you were trying to protect me, to protect us, because we are one. Everything you went through, I was right. Prayer brought us to where we are now. And prayer has been keeping us from the beginning. All kind of things you. And you didn't know which way to turn. You didn't know which way to go. But you had a praying grandmother, right? You had a praying grandmother. And she was right there with you through it all. So I know you were forgotten, but you weren't. Just because you kept quiet, that doesn't mean that anything was erased. It wasn't your place to make anything disappear. You have always had beautiful, bright light that shines from within. That life was a gift from God. You have a purpose to bring light into the world. When people have told you that you smile too much, it was the darkness living inside of them that couldn't handle your light. Because others have told you that they could see a bright light around you and it draws them near. They feel comforting to be. So no, for those other people, that's the darkness living inside of them. They couldn't handle your light, sis. And I just want you to know I'm so proud of you for standing tall and staying true to who you are and who you were meant. Never thought that you would be doing the things right now. You're getting on stage, you're planning events, you're together, you're leading. That's right, you're leading. You never thought you would be a leader, did you? Not in a million years. But it was your purpose. It was your purpose to step up and lead. Lead for God's glory. That's what you're for, to bring people, right? But I just want you to know that even though the enemy hates you, many years, and you never in life. You may have made some wrong choices, a few times here and growing. I'm so glad you are worthy of forgiveness and love, genuine love, like Christ loves us. The Bible tells us that He gave His begotten Son so that we should have every life. So I'm glad that you kept believing in life, believing in the life that you deserve, the life that was out of the woman you've become.
Don't tell me I still can't hear you.
I'm on mute. I was on mute again. I'm sorry, but I heard you. And hang on a quick second. I don't know why my mama let me. All right, Lord have mercy. Okay.
My mom literally just called me too. I had put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I was driving home and I was in the car and I was trying to log on. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I saw her. I saw the phone ringing. Okay. So,
Lord have mercy. I said,
how you doing?
Anyway, I'm doing good. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing all right.
Good, good. I'm glad you were able to make it on.
Me too. Lord, now I open this up. Let me just stop touching.
Right. Let's put our hands up in the air, right?
Up in the air. Take it right.
Exactly. Lord. But yes, but thank you so much for coming in. And you all, this is, if you all don't know, this is Oni Poe.
Hey.
So, we've been in each other's circle for about a couple years now, right?
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, it has been, and it's been a joy.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I'm gonna ask you this since I've introduced you. So once I put out the announcement for the letter, I think did I ask you personally? I think I did, didn't I?
I don't know. It felt personal.
I think I did because I was like, I only need to be in this. Telling on myself, right? I said, I only need to be in this.
I love that because sometimes I don't show up for things unless I know that the door is open. So I appreciate that because yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I was like, yeah, I only got to be in this. Of like, and you was like, yes, I do it. And of course, a lot of stuff try to get in your way too, But God said yes. So I'm glad you were able to participate. So with that being said, because I did have a few little questions for everybody, but what would have been? I'm gonna go back to my notes. I'm gonna be original. So if you could describe your letter in one word or phrase, what would it be and why?
Describing my letter in one word or phrase, what would it be and why? Um, I think my word would probably be reverence.
Okay.
Um, and I say that, and I don't even know what the definition of reverence truly is.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of reverence, I think of to hold something in high regard. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
say that because I am now at a place in life where I hold my childhood, my teenhood,
Right.
my young adulthood in high regard. I've been
Mm-hmm.
saying lately that I no longer tell my story from the lens of trauma, but
Right.
from the lens of triumph, because I
Mm-hmm.
realize now that all of that was all of that was necessary for the disc that I'm living now. And
Right.
so I have so much more reverence for who I have been throughout the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be my word, reverence.
Okay. Okay. And I can see that because you're like you said, you putting the word reverence up, like you said, it's like, at a high regard. So it's like you're telling that little girl that she was important, that younger you. You're telling the young Oni, little Oni, that she mattered. She was
Yeah.
important too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I love that. So what was the most difficult part about writing your letter?
Um, Deciding from what lens, not lens, really what time frame I
Okay.
wanted to write it from. Because you think about the young girl, most your younger self, most people typically go
Hmm.
all the way back to like little girl,
Right.
and so a lot of what was coming up in me, because I actually, I changed my letter. I had
Yes.
written a letter and then I came back and wanted to do something else.
Hmm.
So I think the most difficult part was deciding on like what part of my younger self, like what time frame,
Hmm.
and also what posture I wanted to write it in. Like I said, I definitely didn't want to write it from um a sad lens. I didn't want to write
Right.
it from a um
From trauma.
trauma lens. I didn't want to write it from any
Hmm.
of that. And then I also wanted it to be something that I was literally writing to my younger self. So I actually approached it as though I
Hmm.
was writing it to my daughter.
Okay.
Like
Right.
it's something,
Hmm.
because I started it with Little Sunshine. And
Yes.
Sunshine is a name that I have embodied over the years. Many people throughout my journey have called me Sunshine, and they've told me,
Hmm.
I remind them of light and I'm always bright and all of that stuff. But I
Hmm.
haven't fully embraced that. I haven't fully embodied that. So I tried to
Right.
dim, and I didn't realize that I was still
Hmm.
shining. And so when my daughter was born, I've always told her to shine bright, because I
Yeah.
wanted to instill in her, it's okay for you to just be who you are and your light is shining. So
Hmm.
I eventually landed with that, and I wanted it to be something that any with all of the things that I write and produce, and I write and produce a lot that I don't really share.
Right.
But my thoughts are that it'll be legacy one day that the
Hmm.
generations beyond me will have. So I finally landed on that,
Okay.
um, to my little sunshine.
Little
So
son.
like it was to me, my younger
Right.
self, but it was
Hmm.
words that I want my daughter to hear,
Right.
and to
Okay. So, did have you read it to your daughter, or has
know.
she?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But
Okay.
what's interesting, I write some things to her now,
Okay.
that I'll send messages that I say messages to my 40-year-old daughter, because
Okay.
what I
Right.
realize is that there's some things that people try to tell me when all of us,
Right.
you have to grow into wisdom,
Yes.
and so there's
Mhm.
some things that I may say to her now, she's 19, that I
Mhm.
know that she can't receive, even if she hear it. So I have to
Mhm.
shape that as a message to my 40-year-old daughter. So I
Right.
told her about it, and I know that it's there. What I thought about getting one of those, how you can build a bear and do like a recording and record. I actually thinking
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
remember those.
record the letter and actually put it
Okay.
into a bear or something tangible.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. No, that'd be a nice thing to give to her, and then she can
Hmm.
listen to it, at her leisure,
Absolutely.
right. And I'm sure she'll listen to it at the right time that she needs it to.
It'll land right at the right time.
Right, exactly. Um, so what did this experience teach you about yourself?
Um,
Mhm.
honestly, it has shown me how much I have evolved.
Mhm.
It's shown me how much healing I've actually done. It has
Okay.
shown me how much I've grown, and how much, like I said, my lens has changed.
Right.
I see
Mhm.
life so clearly now. And even
Mhm.
with that, I know that I'm still blooming, I'm still becoming, but
Right.
things make sense. Like, I don't question. I've never really questioned a lot, but now I
Mhm.
really, really don't question a lot. And like I say, it really taught me that I don't know, everything about, I feel like everything about everything that I've been through was really part of a divine master plan. And
Mhm.
doing this letter, reading it, recording it, like trying to get it just right. Like, I didn't even want to put on clothes like that whole time. Even now,
Right.
But and that's another thing that it has taught me. Like, it's never really mattered to me. Like, I'm really not a uh I won't say I don't fix myself up, but I'm really not a person who has a complex about how other people see me and perceive me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I didn't want to record the letter laying in the bed, which is why
Right.
I didn't do it at all on camera the first time I did it. But then I didn't feel
Right.
like getting out of the bed when I really did record it, so I just did a background. But it
Mhm.
has taught me that um who I am, my authentic self,
Mhm.
is, and I didn't just learn it in this process, but it
Right.
solidified in this process. Who I
Mhm.
am at my core, like the essence of me, is my
Right.
value. Nothing that I
Mhm.
put on, not that outer stuff. Some people have
Right.
to look a certain way, or dress a certain way, or fix themselves up a certain way, and they present like uh 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 like a part of themselves that's wrapped in something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
They're
And
masked,
I
if you
the
will.
mask, the mask.
Yeah.
And what I
Mhm.
have learned is that I took off my mask so long ago. When I turned 40, I'm
Right.
46 now. That was the beginning of my release era.
Right.
I
Mhm.
realized, getting to the question, just how unmasked I am,
Right.
and how
Mhm.
good it feels to be unmasked. Like, to really show up, almost like, I'm gonna use the word naked, but to be
Mhm.
so vulnerable and
Right.
to be so comfortable in that vulnerability is a
Yes.
sacred space. It just feels so good to be able to bear witness to who I am,
Mhm.
unmasked, and doing that
Right.
letter, reading that letter, even showing up today,
Mhm.
not feeling my best, not I mean, I was out earlier, but I was like, well, let me I was gonna try to get home and at least put on a different shirt or something. I'm like, no,
Right.
all of
Mm.
that doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I get it. I definitely understand because it's like sometimes we're trying to be all, this and that for everybody to know. Like I put on my little headband, my roots need a little retweet,
Yeah,
but I'm like, look, this is me. I don't have to be perfect, polished. Like you said, you
right.
can be vulnerable. And that takes strength to
It
be
really
vulnerable, to just show up as just you, unapologetically. That takes strength.
It
So,
really does, and it
mhm,
feels so good. And I realize the more that I show up like that, the
mhm,
the better I feel. Now, I'm gonna tell you this one funny thing.
mhm,
I got my hair kind of leaning to the side, but my hair is actually thinning, and it hasn't fallen
mhm.
out yet, but it's thinning really, really,
Right.
really bad. But I don't want
Mhm.
to. I don't want to cut it because I want to see what's happening to it. But like, you
Yeah,
see how
yeah.
this I've been pulling this, like, it's just
Right.
holding on. So when
Yeah.
I logged in, it was like this, and I said, well, at least I can flip it to the side,
Right.
so that piece won't be hanging. But even with that, it's not
Right.
necessarily that I'm ashamed. It's just it would have been distracting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I try to
Mhm.
minimize the distraction, but not necessarily hide what's
Right.
going on, because I
Mhm.
feel like everything that happens with us is a part of the becoming, it's a part of the
Yeah,
blooming. And if
exactly.
we hide those things and we mask those things, we
Mhm.
never really meet our true self. And then
Mhm.
if we don't meet our true self, then we're presenting a version of ourselves that's flawed. It's not even real to us. And people
Right.
meet that and they interact
Mhm.
with that.
Right.
And I don't want to live like that. I want, look, that's why I say
I got it.
when you talk to me, I'm usually gonna say I'm the one and only. I don't tell you nothing else about
Right, you do. You say I'm the one and only. You sure do. You sure, and that's all you're supposed to be. Is the one and only, right? That's all you're
yes.
supposed to be. So, and Brandy says, "Unmasked can be a whole letter or poem." We all need that reminder. We do.
Yes.
We do. We all need that reminder, because
Absolutely.
especially
I
as
might write that
women.
tonight, Brandy. I'm gonna
Right.
tag Deborah when I write.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Right. That. Right. That. Cause.
unmasked, because
Mhm.
so many people, and going back to this whole series and the letter to our
Right.
younger self, the
Mhm.
mask starts, I think, as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
I have, I do a lot of deep reflection, and actually, and I'm just
Yeah.
rambling there. You have to
No.
cut
Go
me off,
ahead.
but
Go ahead.
I actually was just sitting. I hadn't had any car time and parking lot time,
Mhm.
and that's like my therapy, just to sit and think.
I
And
remember when you sit in your
yeah,
car.
that's what I like to do. And I was sitting in the car, I was
Mhm.
like, but dang, people gonna think I ain't got a house. Let me get out. But I was sitting and thinking, and I was like, um, this is what people need to do. Just meet
Mhm.
themselves and sit with their own thoughts, because we what I was gonna go back to childhood is, I think, like I said, we put on masks to cope, because
Mhm.
when something doesn't feel right or you go through an experience, you're constantly adjusting to the world around you and to everybody else, and
Right.
how you think you need to show up for those people. So you
Right.
lose sight of who you really are. And then you get to a
Mhm.
part of your journey where you feel like you're not being your authentic self. And I think that's the path of self-discovery, when you start unmasking to see
Mhm.
who you really are at the core. But some people, I
Right.
don't think, ever get to that point.
They don't. They don't, because they're still, and a big part of that is, I believe, is people pleasing, because you're still trying to please everybody else. You don't want them to see that part of you, the
Mhm.
intricate parts of you, the negative parts of you, the parts that went through this or went through that. You want them to see that polished version of you. So they're not seeing the real you. They're not seeing the real
Mm-mm.
you at all. And mm-mm.
And I think those ugly parts, that's the
Mm-hmm.
essence.
Yeah, they're the
That's
important
that's
part.
the gift. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part that I like to see. That's why I
Right.
love stories, and I love talking to people, and I love hearing what they've been through, what they're currently
Mm-hmm.
holding, what they're going through,
Right.
because that speaks to the true core, because we
Mhm.
all know that everybody's going through something. I mean, that's the
Right.
only way beauty emerges, when you go through something.
Yes.
There has to be some
Mhm.
kind of process. Even birth is hard.
Right. Exactly right. But then you get this beautiful bouncing baby,
Yes.
Right. And then that baby might get on your nerves a little bit here and there too, but you still, you go through the stages of, raising your child from infancy
Right.
on up to, and you come out with, a young adult, and, but that's just the whole process of life. We're going to go through
Hmm.
those stages, the ugly stages and the pretty stages, or the
Right.
comfortable and uncomfortable stages. They're all a part of life. You cannot go through life completely avoiding it.
Hmm.
You may, everybody may not go through the exact same thing. And some people's lives may go be a little harder than others, but you're going to go through something. You can't completely avoid the hard times.
That's right.
They're there, and they help to build your strength, your
Absolutely.
faith, to build your muscles. So we
All of
have
that.
to, so
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
we have to go through those things. So
Hmm.
definitely. So, and I was like, yeah, this is, when he was like, yeah, put this out here, then, for the women to write a letter to their younger selves. And then I'm like, yeah, and you got to do it too. So I was like,
Hmm.
and when I sat down, I actually didn't write. I wrote a letter, like you said, I wrote a letter, and then I was like, okay, no, Deborah, you're gonna sit down and really write this letter. And I wrote another letter again. Okay,
Awesome.
Chris, someone said she's in the waiting room, but Crystal is not showing me that she's in the waiting room. Hold on. Showing. Hold on. It's not showing. Crystal's trying to come in. She said she made it to the waiting room and says waiting for the host to join. Make sure she's in the right. Let's see. Never gonna keep trying. Keep trying. But yeah, and so when I got such a positive response to
Mm-hmm.
everyone wanting to participate, and of course some of you all that I knew, but some of the women that I didn't know,
Wow.
and God that there honestly really let me know, like, okay, yeah, this was bigger than what you even thought it was,
Absolutely.
like of course I know it wasn't about me, because when I initially, I wasn't honestly thinking about my letter. But then I was like, okay, Deborah, you got to write a letter too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect them to be vulnerable and then you not,
Right.
not go there with them,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was like, okay, well, I wrote my letter as well, so but okay, Miss Crystal's coming in. So we're gonna bring her on. Hold on to make sure her camera and everything comes on. Let's see. Okay, camera's on. She was on. Let me see. I'm gonna bring her in. And okay, you muted yourself, Crystal. I don't know if you let me know if you can hear me, but you're in here. Hold on. Let's see. She's in here. She might be having the same. Okay, there you are, Crystal. Say you're muted. Okay, are you on
Can
now?
you hear me?
Yes, we can
Loud and
hear
clear.
you. Yes.
Yo, listen, I am like uptown.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it on. So I'm gonna officially welcome. This is Miss Crystal Lou, as we call her, Dr. Lou.
Hey,
And
Crystal.
yes, I'm not sure if you all have met EQ with you, Lou. Yes, have met
Okay.
person officially, or yet not in the same space or anything. She comes to Augusta a lot. So
Okay.
yeah. So this is Oni. This is Crystal. So
Hi, Crystal.
Hello, it's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
okay, so I'll go back over some of the beginning questions. There's only a few. So, Crystal, if you could describe your letter in one word or phrase, what would it be and why?
I would say that all my life I've been sitting on grace and hanging on to hope.
Mm,
I like that. I like.
nice.
Okay, and why? You can elaborate a
Oh,
little.
my bad, my bad,
It's
my bad,
okay.
y'all. Um, I really would say why, just because most of the time in my life prior to these, you know, most recent years, I didn't realize
Mhm,
that God's hand was on my life and I wasn't able to see it. And,
mhm,
but I always had hope, and I know that that was from God. Even when I
mhm,
made, poor decisions, or when I didn't realize how strong I really was or anything like that. And
mhm,
for me, just being able to recognize his grace on my life and in the lives of other people really has made a huge difference.
And
Yes.
that's a huge thing too, because His grace is sufficient for all of us. All the things that we may think are just little to Him, or big to Him, right? They're big to us, but they're little to Him, and His grace is enough for all of us to carry us
Absolutely.
through. Right. So I love that. I love that. So, what was the most difficult part about writing your letter, Crystal?
Well, I might would say the signal, but no.
Right. We all, I think, had those issues.
I would say it felt like I was trying to summarize like
Hmm.
multiple lifetimes in one lifetime, which was really,
Hmm.
really um, difficult.
Hmm.
I words tend to come pretty easily in terms of like writing,
Right.
but um, I'm really grateful for it because it caused me to be
Hmm.
able to really look at it and kind of see the high points, and being able to imagine talking to my younger self
Right.
and to the woman like in the future. And I think it's a
Hmm.
really good therapeutic exercise to kind of bring and meld those together so that we can
Right.
recognize them without compartmentalizing, because trauma will cause us to
Mhm.
compartmentalize and not like
Right.
still identify with that. So For me, it was like a course correction. And so I would say it was difficult just to really kind of put it all together in one.
Mhm. Okay. Well, being that you mentioned that the different parts of your lives, I have a part B question because I only kind of answered the part B herself. So what age group of you were you writing to
Oh,
when you
girl.
wrote yours? The little Crystal, teenage Crystal, young adult Crystal.
I would say that I was writing to my 18 to like 25-year-old self.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got that. Okay. That's good. Okay. All right. So, and she received it well, I'm sure. Right.
I think it's healing, Miss Deborah. I think
It
what's
is.
happening in this
Mhm.
space is incredibly healing.
It
And there's
is.
something that happens when we get together, like as women, of course.
Right.
But there's
Mhm.
something that, comes together when we are able to, like, it heals, like, on another level
Mhm.
of being able to
Mhm.
kind of like empower us. Because
Right.
that little girl is still always inside me, and I want her to have her
Mhm.
voice. And this has been, that's been a huge kind of focal point in my life, either having my voice or not
Mhm.
having my voice, or my voice is oppressed, or things like that. And I
Right.
know I'm not the only one. So for me, I really
Mhm.
think this has been incredibly healing and challenging, but
Yeah.
so worth it.
It was. It was worth it. Like I said, even when he gave it to me, when the Lord gave it to me, and then he reminded me that, Deborah, you got to write one too. You can't,
Mhm.
you can't have, the women to write one. This wasn't only for them. Put it that way. It wasn't only for you all. It was for me too. And so like I said, told Oni, I was like, I rewrote my letter a couple times too. Because I was like, okay, it's not supposed to be a perfect polished letter. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
an honest, truthful, heartfelt letter. And so that's what I did. And I gave that to him. So we'll go into our next question. Is number 3. What did this experience teach you about yourself?
Mm,
Take your time.
mm, mm. Whew. One of the first things
Mhm.
it taught me was how easy it is to pour for others
Mhm.
without pouring that same kind of like life and strength to myself. And I do
Mhm.
that as a practice, but I also, like, when it came to being that vulnerable, I think
Mhm.
it's because I was like proximity to me, right?
Mhm.
It's easier
Mhm.
to like pour out to you and to pour out to her and to pour out to her and to pour out to her.
Right.
But like when it comes to, there's like a level of vulnerability that is like increased when it comes to like
Yes.
pouring out to me because of my proximity to
Exactly.
me, and my emotions in that experience, so for me, I
Mhm.
think that that was it.
Right, exactly. Because you're busy, like you said, we're busy doing important to everybody else. Mama, daddy, sister, brother, friend, cousin, whoever. Children, but we're not pouring into ourselves. So yeah, this letter was us taking care of ourselves. For whatever age we wrote it to, we were taking care of
Mhm.
ourselves. So and that's important. So that's definitely, yeah, that's definitely an important task that we all should focus on taking care of ourselves. I know you talk about a lot on your platform as well, about
Yes,
healing
ma'am.
and, the emotional intelligence. Can't quite say your phrase exactly. What you don't manage don't let your emotions manage you, manage them. You can say it
That's
correctly.
right. It's manage your emotions or they will manage you. Yes, ma'am.
Right,
That's
there it
so
is.
true.
Exactly.
And
It's stuck in
that's a
you.
lived experience. Like, literally, I learned that because my emotions ran my life for a long time. And so my
Right.
letter, like, literally, Miss Deborah, was like some of those kind of key points,
Mm-hmm.
because I need to remember that, and
Right.
we often experience the feelings before we even have a name for them. And, some are
Right.
easier than others to feel. So
Right, exactly. Sometimes we don't even understand them ourselves, and it's a whole process. It really is. So, what would you say to the woman that you used to be, Crystal? To that 18 to 25-year-old, what would you say to her now?
I would tell her that she is never alone, even though she felt like she was alone.
Mm, I understand. I can relate to that. I can feel that. That's a beautiful thing to
Yeah.
say to her. That is. That's a beautiful thing to say to her. And so if you would like to elaborate on that as well, Oni, feel free to.
I think I would say keep growing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like such a minimalistic cliche phrase,
Mm-hmm.
but what I mean is sometimes we feel like where we are now is the end. Like
Mm-hmm.
just keep growing, keep blooming. There's more to
Right.
come, and with that, you need. I would say you need everything about what you're experiencing now, the totality of it, the good,
Yeah.
the bad, the ugly, like how whatever words you use to describe what's going on, whatever
Mm-hmm.
whatever feelings are driving those emotions, or whatever emotions are driving those feelings, all of that
Mm-hmm.
is a part of the evolve you, the higher you.
Right.
That's what I would
Mm-hmm.
say.
Okay.
Because you know and we talked about this, and then Crystal talked about, like, it seemed you said that teenage. What age for
You said 18 to 25,
you
Crystal,
said
right?
18 to 20.
Uh-huh.
Your
Yes,
letter?
Yeah,
ma'am.
Right.
but when I look back at my 18 to 25 self,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think about who she was compared to my 30 to 35-year-old self,
Mm-hmm.
now compared to, like, the growth that I've experienced between age 40 and age 46 is
Right.
amazing. And now 18 makes
Mm-hmm.
sense, but at
Right.
that time 40 seems like such an old woman age. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
It
I would
did.
just say keep growing. And even I say that
Mm-hmm.
now, even to my future self. Like, I know that where I'm at in the
Mm-hmm.
journey right now, I'm going through right now, it's only a part of who I'm still growing into be. You know,
Right.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
over yet. It's all a part of who I am still yet becoming. So that's what I would
Mm-hmm.
say.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that.
Well,
Yeah,
go
So
on and say it then.
I
that's
know.
right. Tell her, right?
That's
Tell
right,
her.
sister.
Woo!
You told her, didn't she?
Yes. Like,
And
this
yes.
ain't it. Like, really,
Right.
like, this is
Like,
not
look,
it. This is,
girl.
yeah, this is not it. This is not the
Right.
finale. This is not the finish line.
Right.
You just got to keep on moving, keep on growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I would say.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
fine.
And even for me, I guess I should be answering the question a little bit more too. But even for
Definitely.
me, my letter was actually a mixture of the different ages. I
Okay.
went back into my little girl a little bit to my and then jumped up into my married years, which is my 20 to my mid 40s.
Okay.
I jumped into there a little bit, and I jumped in there a little after that when my life transitioned, to being a divorcee, and because those were significant parts of my life. So I kind of condensed them in there because each one of them needed this. Each one of them needed, to be vulnerable, to say, it's okay, for everything that you went through. That doesn't define who you are now.
Right.
You're still growing, you're still blooming, like the poem, still I bloom. You're
Right.
still blooming, right? Still blooming, still growing until, we leave this earth. We're all still growing. So don't everything that you went through, it kind of, like you said, I think one of you mentioned, but everything that you went through, it filtered into who you are now, and it built your muscle. It taught you different things about yourself, and that's really what life is all about. We're all learning about ourselves and just growing on this journey. And we're praying, we're trusting in God to just lead us and guide us. But we're not always going to make the right choices, but the main thing is to keep going. Don't give up, just keep going. So that's where how my letter kind of went. But what would you all I guess with any because I'm not gonna hold you all too long tonight. Are there any thing else that you all would like to say to a woman that's watching us right now, or that may watch us later on? And I'll let you go, each one, whichever one wants to go first. What would you say to the woman that's watching this video?
Mm.
Crystal, you want to
Mhm.
go first?
I will. Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I would say to you, the lady that is watching this,
Mhm.
no matter your age, no matter what your experiences have been, whether you are publicly in the, speaking publicly, or whether you are
Mhm.
alone, you are more important than anything else in terms of like the stuff, the progress, the performance, the, you know,
Mhm.
having all the right answers, not having all the right answers, and your light is necessary. So I would
Mhm.
encourage you to watch this. I would encourage you to write or to speak it, or, and to just listen to all of these letters and see where it is that you identify yourself and where it is that you like
Mhm.
admire, and make a goal, and then make a decision, and
Mhm.
then make the choices to support that decision, you know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I do have to go, Miss Deborah and Oni. I
No,
do have
you're
to go,
fine.
but
We're getting ready to
um,
end after this anyway, but
I
it's fine.
I was
You're
gonna
fine.
say it's getting dark on me, but
I
I
know.
promise I was trying to get in here.
Nice to meet
I
you.
know.
I
I'm glad
followed you
you did.
on. I just sent you a friend request on Facebook too.
Good,
Okay,
good,
okay,
good,
yes,
good,
ma'am. Yes,
good,
ma'am. Thank you
good.
so much. And Miss
It's
Deborah,
fine.
thank you.
Thank you
I'm
so
sorry to
much
cut
for
off, but
it's fine. Thank you so much for making it in. I appreciate you, Crystal. And we'll
thank
talk
you for your
soon.
patience. Bye bye, y'all.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yes, okay, there she is. And Mary's still trying to come in. I
Is
told her if she
she?
can't make it in, we're gonna do it again Tuesday if she can try to come in then.
Got you.
But go ahead with your
What's the question again? Can you repeat
the
the
question
question?
was, what would you tell the woman what would you say to a woman who is still in the place that you want for, or that's listening to us, watching us now, this conversation? What would you say to her?
Love
Mhm.
yourself. Love
Yeah.
yourself. Everything that you be, everything to you that you want
Mhm.
somebody else to be to you.
Mhm.
One of my phrases that I say a lot right now is do what you need to do to be well. and
Mhm.
and nobody knows what that is, but
Right.
um I would, and another thing that I would say is, I love this project because we wrote a letter to our younger self, but
Mhm.
one of the things that I like to do is I make peace with life daily. um
Right.
every day
Mhm.
I make peace with life,
Yes. Mhm.
because life is so sacred. It's so short.
Mhm.
We really don't
Yeah.
know how much time we have, and so much of
Mhm.
our time could be um lived from the perspective of what was or what could
Mhm.
be, and not from what is right now in this moment. So
Right.
I would also
Mhm.
say, as much as possible, to all the women out there, stay
Mhm.
present in today and meet today where it is, with reverence,
Mhm.
love, and respect for yourself, because you've
Mhm.
survived so many hard things. you
Right.
you've you've been built for hard things, but you don't have to live the rest of your life from the posture of hardship.
Mm.
Like I say,
Mhm.
you can redefine all of those trials and trauma, and
Right.
and give new vocabulary to what you've experienced. When I
Mhm.
made peace with my past, nothing about my past changed, but
Right.
the way I looked at it, what I
Exactly.
saw, nothing else. Everything that I've gone through. But how
Right.
I look at what I've gone through matters. And had it
Mhm.
not been for all of that, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today.
Right.
So she said, what does it
Mhm.
mean to make peace
Mhm.
with life? Like, what
Mhm.
does that look like? What I can say, I can give you my answer. What it means for me to make peace with life is the acceptance that comes with knowing
Mhm.
my belief that there is a
Mhm.
God who has
Mhm.
orchestrated everything by a intricate, precise design. I believe in that
Mhm.
design so fully. And
Yeah.
so for me, making peace with life is just accepting that, understanding that,
Mhm.
that there
Right.
is a higher order, there is a higher purpose, there is a higher call for us. And I'm not saying that to be
Mhm.
religious or not even spiritual. It's just a belief that
Right.
there's a divine orchestration, and I cannot control that. And
Right.
making peace with life means everything that has happened.
Right.
And even if I don't like it, I can't change it.
Exactly. It still
So
happens. Right.
I don't have the capacity to to just hold on to that from a perspective of I don't like it, or it could have been the other way, because if it could have been another way, it would have been another way. And the fact that it wasn't another way means the way that it was is just what I have to make peace with.
Right.
And so I don't know if that answers your question, Brandy, but that's what it looks like to me, you know. And when I say I make peace with life daily, I mean, I literally recall, and now I'm going through something. So I have a little, like my short-term memory, even in real time, like when I say repeat the question, you know, I'm navigating through something right now, with just my internal processing, but I still go back over, like, I'm Johnny on the spot. So I used to say what I mean and mean what I say. And I try not to wrong people, you know, all of that stuff. But if I had, then I make peace with that daily, you know, and I make peace with the fact that I ain't gonna like what everybody say and do. And I don't have to, you know, they're not gonna like everything that I say and do. But I'm gonna let them be me, and I'm gonna be me. And even if I didn't want to let them be me, let them be themselves, I can't change them.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's difficult for me to change myself. So I'd be darned if I'm gonna be trying to change somebody else. So
thank you.
That's what it means, like, for me.
Okay, I like that, because you with making peace with life and everything, you have to be able to come to terms with you, like so much of what you said. You have to be able to come to terms with what you've been through, the choices you made, the mistakes you made, or whatever choices.
Absolutely.
But you can't change them. They're already done. They're in the past. They're gone. Whether you agree with the choices you made or whether you don't, or either way, you just grow and evolve and learn from those.
Absolutely. And even that of other people. Like when I really sat down, and like I said, I started Release when I was 40. I'm 46 now. So I have done a lot of work. I have done a lot of healing work. I have really done some work. You know, I've therapy, personal therapy, you know, sitting and like, I'm one of those that I wanted to, you know, I always speak in metaphor, but I literally unpacked the attic of my mind. Like all of the stuff that was stored back. And it's some stuff that comes up now sometimes, and I feel like it's a residual, like it's something that I haven't worked with. But when something comes up and it makes me feel a certain way, or something tug me a certain way, if I'm emotionally connected to something, I don't push that away. I want to hold it. I want to examine it. If it's gonna make me, I want to see what am I feeling and what is this connected to? Like, what have I not made peace with? That is still holding me, you know. And once I started living like that, man, I'm telling you, I was able to show up more fully in each day, you know. And I had to make peace with the fact that I was holding on to unresolved stuff that I felt like if it was a mama issue or daddy issue, it was because I thought they could have done something differently. But once I realized that they probably did the best they could with what they had at that time, and of course they loved me, even if that didn't feel like I thought it should have felt. You know, I know right now as a mother that my children are going to have to make peace with things that I've done, and all I've done is try to love them with everything I have. But that don't always translate into a language that a person is able to receive. You know, that's peace for me, and knowing that, you know. So, yeah. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I'll ask if anyone in the audience has any more questions. And we thank you so much, Brandy.
Definitely.
So this has been a great conversation. And we are going to try to come back Tuesday. Whoever would like to come on, if you want to come back twice, however you can, feel free. But because this is a needed discussion, a needed conversation. And I don't know if I'm going to bring the letters back till next March, or Laura said bring it back again, because like you said, we are right into different stages of ourselves, you know, of our younger selves. So it may be needed more than just once a year, you know.
I think so.
So I'm gonna pray over that and just, you know, and see how that goes. But I want to thank everyone for if no one has any more questions, I want to thank you all for showing up and for just, you know, sharing your truth with us tonight, sharing your truth in your letter, taking that step, you know, allowing yourself to be vulnerable in this space, because, you know, everybody doesn't share everything online, you know, and because once it's there, you know.
Mhm.
But just like writing in a book, you never know who needs to hear your letter, who needs to hear your story. So you,
Absolutely.
Mhm. And so I want to again thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to come on here with me tonight. I
Thank
do.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
You're welcome, and of course, thank you for even being a part of the series. Because I couldn't have done it without you. Not the one and only.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All
Oh,
right, Deborah.
all
Well,
right,
I
well,
appreciate you. You enjoy the rest of your night.
all right. You too. Have a good night.
Okay. You
All
too.
right. Bye bye. All right, everyone. I would like to say again, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. For those that you may catch this in the replay, feel free to, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. And we will definitely answer the questions. Any of the ladies can chime back in the chat and answer your questions as well. And yeah, this may be become a regular thing because it's not because it's just something to watch or just something, but it's because it's needed. It's needed. So it may come back around before next March. But we're gonna go ahead and, like I said, we've wrapped up the series, and we may have another two talk again discussion with some of the other ladies on Tuesday at the same time. So you guys feel free to come and join us again. And again, thank you all so much for being a part of this discussion tonight. And you all have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you. Oh, and make sure you like and subscribe. I always got to say that. All right. Good night, everyone.